All right, we are back again. Hello and welcome to another video. I'm Nathan Hall. This is the Ministry of Mindset channel. And again, I am joined by my crew from the Knowledge and Power podcast. Thank you so much for joining. What's up, Ray?
Hey, what's going on, bro? You all right?
Oh man, I'm doing good, man. I'm excited about tonight's topic. Hopefully we can get Jake on here. He said he was a little bit delayed, so hopefully he'll be able to join us in time. If not, we're gonna keep it rolling because we got some good information here tonight. We have a special guest.
Yeah, that is true, man. That's our first special guest.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Our special guest is licensed professional counselor Zolita Brown. We'll get to intro to her in just a moment. But how about that show from last week, man? Got a lot of good feedback from that.
Did you really?
Our Christmas stories.
Yeah, man.
There's Brother Jake.
There's Jake.
Right on time as usual. What's going on, man?
What's up? What's up,
How you
bro?
doing? We're doing good.
I'm
man.
good.
We're doing good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you. We can see you.
Okay. All right, good.
We got Miss Brown standing by. I'm gonna send her a quick message. Let her know we're gonna bring her on in a few minutes.
Okay.
Awesome.
So, Jake, you just came in off the road, right?
Yeah.
Traveling?
Yeah, well, just had to run over, just a city over, trying to get some things for the house and Christmas.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
How's the Christmas shopping going?
A little bit. Wasn't
intentional.
intentional.
Based on our last week's conversation, you shouldn't be so much focused on gifts this time, bruh.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? You need to be out there just spread and cheer and joy. That's it.
Right. That's fun.
You are right.
But what kind of comments did you hear, Nate? You were sharing that about.
Oh no, just good feedback, man. The stories that people could relate to. Unfortunately, we didn't get any comments on the page that I could post, but just from people. Good conversation, good camaraderie. Love the story. Love the story that Jake told about his dad and the
ashes.
Oh man,
with the ashes. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. So yeah, we had a good feedback, man, and people are still buzzing about the man conversation. Who taught you how to be a man? So it's just a blessing to know that these conversations are impacting people. And people are relating to the topics that we discuss.
Yeah.
And so we have another burner.
Yeah.
I say, we're going to talk tonight with our special guest, Zolita Brown. And we're glad to have her. Go ahead, Jay, Ray. What was you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, it was kind of bold for us to step out during the holiday season where everything is, bright, merry, and cheery. To talk about such a heavy lace topic as grief and loss, but in all seriousness, for everybody, it's not always jingle bells, merry all the way.
It's not. It's not. It's not. I mean,
it's real.
It's real. And when this topic first came up, I was excited about it because of the fact that it's real and it's something that people really deal with. I'll just tell a quick story. When Michelle's grandmother passed back in 2000, I remember how it impacted the family, and she passed just before Christmas. And she was the matriarch, literal matriarch of the family. I mean, she held that family together like glue. And just to see the varying types of grief and sadness. We all dealt with it. It wasn't my grandmother specifically, but I loved her very much. But just to see her family just really deal with that loss, and every Christmas since, it's been 20 years, and every Christmas since, it's still fresh. And so we all have people that we know, or we've lost somebody, and it affects us during the holidays, especially. More than others because that's such a family time.
Yeah,
you know
one of the things that I definitely want to ask our guests tonight, can you ever will you ever get past that loss? Because like you were saying, Nate, man, 24 years, it marked 24 years yesterday that my dad died.
Wow.
And you would think, 24 years, it's got to be getting easier. But I'm telling you, man, the days leading up to December 12th, I started remembering. Remembering what we went through. And then yesterday when my eyes opened up, man, I went back to the fact that we lost him 24 years during what was supposed to be a joyous time of year. So having to put your loved one away leading up to Christmas and still try to have a quote unquote normal Christmas when the matriarch of your family has gone on, man, that does a job to you. So,
serious job.
Yeah, so I really want to know, I want to ask her, how do you get past those things? And then that was my dad 24 years ago. And then my brother passed also right after Christmas, going into New Year's. He passed, and that's been it'll be 29 years this January. So for me personally, I have to fight past, different moves and different funks because I go back to that time. I don't want to. But man, I miss those guys, man, and so that's just real. That's just being real.
Yeah, it's human nature. I mean, you never forget. I mean, as the years go by, especially now. I went through it with my grandmother, and like I said in our previous session, this was her favorite time of the year. So I can't even get to Christmas without thinking of her because she's the one that caused me to love it so much.
Right.
And the year after her passing, man, the family was like, okay, what do we do? Where do we go? Because we all were always at her house. So,
right.
And to this very year, we still like, it's up in the air every year. Like, where are we going to go? Whose house are we going to be at? And all of that is like, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not. It's a flashback, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not the same, for real.
Yeah.
So what I thought was interesting is, like I said, I saw the varying degrees of how people were dealing with, this particular loss, and everybody dealt with it differently. Some people celebrated. Some people were like more, reserved, didn't want to talk about it. Some folks were actively mourning but seeking support from other family members. Some people were standoffish. But the one thing I saw that really got them through every year was the storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
Inevitably you're going to have those stories. You remember when Grandma did this? You remember when Grandma said that? And it always make everybody laugh, at least for a couple minutes, and kind of boost their spirits and remember the good things instead of dwelling on the fact that she's not there. You kind of memorialized her through the memories and the things that really brought the family together. And they still do that to this day. It's like a dynamic to help them cope. And I really appreciate that because for a while we were concerned that the family might not ever recover, but I'm starting to see strength build back up here in unity and cohesion.
Good. That's good.
Over the years. It's good to see.
The question for you, Nate, there's our special guest, Bear.
That's our special guest. I can't I try to hide from him. I can't keep him away.
Question for you, Nate. So how did you handle that as a husband when Michelle went through that loss? Like you said, I know you loved her, but you said you referenced that wasn't your grandmother, but I'm sure you felt and you saw the impact and the weight that it had on Michelle.
Yeah, I had never really lost anybody close to me, to that degree. And so I admittedly was struggling trying to find the right way to provide comfort. And so basically all I could do was just be available. There was a lot of tears, there was anger, lots of emotions, a range of emotions, happiness. And I would just ride the wave as as those moments came and went. But most importantly was just to be supportive, pray with her, be there, have the shoulder to lean on, the tears, the tissues, and crying with her sometimes. Just to be available and supportive. That's really all. I didn't have words, that would ever comfort. But just to be a support was I thought was my role during that time.
That's about it. That's really all you can do.
Yeah, I think so too.
And like you said, those reflections of the memories, that's the best and really only way to find the comfort in it. Those happy memories. And I try to tell people that all the time, because this year, 2020, really, I can't hear anything. Oh, there we go. Did I freeze up? 2020 was like a year for so many people. I've had about 5 friends who lost their moms.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's nothing you can even say. I can't even imagine.
It's hard to fathom.
Yeah. And they keep coming up to each holiday, and it's like the pain is just there. And as much as you try to tell them, try not to be sad, what can you do?
I don't think it ever goes away, man. I think that's a pain that stays with you. I think you just learn how to deal with it and live with it. Especially if it's like a mother, father, brother, sister, somebody like that.
Definitely.
But so we've got some viewers on here who are probably eager to hear the professional point of view to this topic of conversation. So we don't want to hold our guest up. We have we're gonna bring her on in just a second here. We've got Zolita Brown. She's a licensed professional counselor. She served over 18 years of counseling, social work experience. She's helped individuals, families, and children move past roadblocks throughout her career. She opened her own private practice, Phoenix Interventions, and I got something I want to say about that when she comes on. So it could be to continue to assist the community and help those who are suffering from grief and loss. She creates a safe place for her community to get the necessary tools to get past anxiety, depression, past post-trauma, and of course, grief and loss. So, without further ado, please welcome Zolita Brown.
Welcome. On in here, Zolita.
Yeah.
There she is. Welcome to the stream. Hey, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. We certainly appreciate you and offering your time. Just come talk to us about this very important subject about how we can see you, Jake. Of how we deal with cope with loss and grief, especially during the holidays, especially during this time with this pandemic. So many people are being taken out of here, and it's affecting families, especially during this time of year. But before you get started, I want to shout out Renaissance High School. Renaissance, the best high school in the city of Detroit.
Absolutely.
If you can't get into Renaissance, then you go to Cass and all the rest of those guys.
That's right.
Kettering, stuff like that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you didn't experience Kettering. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, don't be sorry. You did. You were at the right place. So I'm interested. Does that have anything to do with the name of your counseling services, Phoenix Interventions?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm a proud alumni. A little bit. Yeah.
So, guys, just so you didn't know, she went to Renaissance High School. Started in '88. I left in '88. So. She came in after I did, but she's done great things, looks like, and is continuing to do great things. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your services and the things that you offer to people in the community?
Sure. Like you've already said, I opened up my private practice. It's only like a year and a half old. It's still a baby. But I offer individual counseling. I do couples counseling. I do family counseling. I work with children and individuals. Pretty soon I'll be offering a support group for teen girls.
Wow.
actually free of charge, because I have a lot of teen girls who the isolation is killing them due to COVID, and they need to have some interaction.
Wow.
So they're feeling lost. So I'm about to actually start a group where they can come into my office. It's a safe space because I have masks, sanitizers, and I actually have an air purifier in my office.
Okay, good.
So I can have them come in and they can at least get a little interaction.
Yeah.
Because we're social beings. So we need to socialize sometime. And with the fact that they're not in school, they're not going anywhere, that's a lot. I remember being a teen girl. My friends were everything for me.
Because, I'm sure, I never thought I would say this, but I think that the young people are finally sick and tired of screen time. I think so? That they are. I think that they need some real live, interaction, because we're all tired of looking at a screen. So I think that's.
Who would have guessed?
That's great. That's
right.
Great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we certainly want to nab or nibble at your expertise on this particular subject.
Okay.
Before as we were talking when we opened the show, we were just kind of discussing some personal stories about loss during the holidays and how it affects the holiday season. Before you really dig in real good, I want to just ask you a question. Other than death, what other types of loss do people have to deal with that can extract grief from their emotions?
They're everyday losses. Think about it. You can grieve your job. We're in COVID. You can grieve social interaction. It's a loss of that. So you can grieve the lack of social interaction. You can grieve the loss of your job. You can grieve the loss of family. And it doesn't mean that someone has died, just a relationship, because so many families right now are not connected because grandma has a compromised system. A niece can have a compromised system. So because of that, you never know. So you have those things that prevent you from interacting with one another. It can be a loss of identity, because if you're a social person and now you're not out, who are you now? If that was a big part of your life.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Wow.
That's huge.
So
Yeah,
you
it
can,
is.
COVID has taught us a lot.
Exactly. There's varying degrees of loss, and it can impact people. It's just as strongly as a death can. So we got a question from the comments. Maybe you can ask that one, then we'll kind of dig into our questions.
Okay.
Brandon says, question, what are some tips to deal with holiday depression and social distancing during COVID?
One of the things that you can do is you find new ways to do things for the holiday. That's like, a good friend of mine for Thanksgiving. They did a Zoom call at Thanksgiving. He said that was the best thing. He missed seeing his family. And it wasn't just immediate family. They actually extended it out to extended family. So it was like a family reunion online.
That's awesome. And we kind of did that too for our Thanksgiving as well.
Absolutely. You create new traditions. Like this year, me and my son, we're doing gingerbread. We're going to have a contest. He's going to do a train. We're having ugly sweater contest. He's only 5. But we're going to do something different because we can't do our regular. Normally for Christmas, we do a big thing on Christmas Eve, and we do a big thing actually on Christmas.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
I said, we have to change some things up. I have family members who have compromised systems, but I don't want him to miss out. And you need to understand as well, things have changed. So you have to give yourself that type of grace to say, okay, things are different right now because of the holiday season, because a lot of the times we want to keep doing things as we always have, and we can't. You have
That's
to be
definitely
willing
true.
to change and understand that some things might have to be different this time.
True.
I have a question. Jake froze up. Okay, I have a question for you. A lot of people have a hard time identifying exactly what grief and loss looks like. They could be going through it, but not know it. So how do you identify? I mean, how do you know what it is that is overtaking you? Because while you're getting ready to answer that, I'll say this. I shared a story about my dad passing during the Christmas season 24 years ago.
Right.
And I wasn't big on going to counseling. I'm a big proponent of it now because I've recently gone, and I realized that I was functioning for a long time, grieving his death, grieving my brother's death, and I never understood what was affecting me like it was. But so how does a person know that they're going through?
And the thing about grief and loss, because it affects everybody differently, there's no one answer.
Okay.
I've treated clients for grief and loss a lot this year, and nobody's grief and loss was the same. I've had clients when they've experienced grief and loss, it started turning into a depression. They lacked all motivation for everything. They didn't want to eat. They didn't want to sleep. They became almost obsessive about the person that had passed on.
Wow.
Where that consumed their entire thoughts. I've had other people who became angry. Wow. I had some people who were in denial. For some people, it might affect your body physically.
Okay.
Where you might have headaches, loss of appetite, lack of energy. For some people, it might just be a sadness. They might not understand the sadness, and they might not realize that feeling is grief. They just have this nagging sadness or this ache that they can't seem to get rid of.
Wow.
Yeah, my wife, this year she lost 5 close people to her, and not all to COVID, but a couple of them, which was her best friend, her pastor, her mother. I mean, not her mother, her brother, and her father-in-law. I mean, stepfather. Sorry.
Wow.
All those people, and she has these moments. In the beginning, it was a lot more often, but now they're kind of spanning out. But she wanted to go to a counseling, and I encouraged her, but I don't know at this point if she would still need that, or if, because they're spanning out, is she okay, or does she still do the therapy?
You know what? I recommend therapy for everybody at any point. Because even though the symptoms may be, like you said, spanning out, it depends on where she is. If she feels stuck in her grief, then absolutely she needs to go. But if she feels like she's going through the stages and she's progressing through, then she might not need to.
Yeah. So usually, it's a personal thing.
It is. For some people, they come because other people feel they're stuck. Like I've had people come to me and they say, my family says I should have counseling. Okay. And I'll ask them, well, what do you think? When was the incident? When was the loss? And when they tell me, sometimes it's been a week. And I say, do you think you need to be here, or do you think you're still going through it? And they say, no, I don't. I say, then come back when you feel needed.
Okay.
Because
so there's no time period.
You're smack dab in the middle of your grief.
Yeah.
What are you coming to see me for? I can't walk you through your grief when you're right there in the midst of it. It's not that you're stuck. You're still in the beginning of it. So, no, when you feel like you're stuck, then you come see me, and then we can figure out how we can walk you through it.
Gotcha.
Because for some people, guilt can be a part of their grief, because they might feel like I could have done more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is the reason that a lot of people can get stuck in their grief, because I feel guilty. I should have did more, or I could have did this, or I could have did that. I should have been there.
Self-blaming.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
There's a lot of dynamics there.
Absolutely.
That-
So
that
that's
is-
why I say every situation is different.
We got another question from the comments.
Okay.
Let's see here. Do black people really go to therapy? My mom says she'll be fine.
Yes.
Wow.
That's a good
90%
question.
of my clients are black people.
No, that's good.
I'm glad it's becoming more prominent
Yeah.
with us.
Yes. Black people do go to therapy. Truth be told, we probably need it more than anybody else.
Do you
Gotta
think
hold-
there's a
gotta
stigma
tone it alive.
attached? I'm sorry, Greg.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a stigma attached to black people going to therapy?
Absolutely, there is. When I tell people that I'm a therapist, the first thing they want to know when I meet them, are you analyzing me? No. I get paid to analyze people. I'm not just out here doing it for fun.
Okay, honest question though. I'm putting you on the spot here. I'm the one that's bringing a little controversy.
Go ahead.
Can you turn it off like that being a therapist when you're just hanging out for a regular time? How do you just shut that off?
Easy. I mean, when you leave work, do you keep it going or do you cut it off?
Got
It's
it.
my job. I have to leave work.
I like
at
that.
This is the thing, in all honesty. If I had to take my caseload with me everywhere I went,
Yeah.
do you know how crazy I would be right now?
Right.
Yeah.
You would be the one need therapy.
Because you got some people you hang out with, they're sitting up talking with you, and you can see different. Yep, that's that sign there. They're dealing with that. I mean, it just seemed like you would just go there, kind of in your mind. So that's good to know that you can.
No, absolutely not. Those are personal relationships.
Right.
So I'm invested in those. So there are things that I know I can miss because I'm personally invested in that.
Okay.
So no, you got to turn it off.
I bet there are a lot of people who want you to continue working after hours.
Absolutely.
I bet. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
For free.
Yeah, for free. They're like, hypothetically, what if?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have a friend.
Right.
You know.
Nate,
I
you
went
had,
to
a really,
therapy.
you had a really good question, Nate.
Yeah, you.
Oh, okay.
I thought she was still on that one, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't want to. I tend to bring some controversy myself, but I don't think this is a controversial question. I think this is a realistic question, especially when we're talking about the African American community. We're a very proud people, church growing community. And so here's my question. A lot of times when people have lost, they get mad at God. They don't want to talk to him anymore. They don't want to go to church. How do you counsel people that express that type of anger? How do you help them deal with that?
One of the things that I do, I don't have many clients come in that are angry with God. I have some that come in confused though. And then we actually explore what that means for them. As far as their faith. Do they honestly believe that this was an act of God, that God created this issue? Or do they truly believe that their faith not going to carry them through? And I go to church. I'm a Christian. So if it comes up, I don't have a problem addressing that. But we do. We can discuss that. What does your faith look like?
That's good.
That's real good.
And that, okay, I get that. Right now you're angry. God knows that you're angry right now. And so we have to work to get past the anger because the anger really isn't toward God. So we need to flesh out what the anger is really toward. Usually when we're angry, it's because we can't control the situation and we need to direct that anger towards somebody or something that's safe. And for a lot of people, if I can blame God, that's safe.
Yeah, because
That's
he's kind of like the intangible, untouchable, safe person to get angry with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I understand that.
So
That was a good point. Yeah, that's a good point about where is your faith. I liked how you said that, because I think that is a faith question more than anything else.
Yeah.
I think that is a faith question more than anything else. I think that is a faith question more than anything else. And so that leads me to another question, and we've got more questions in the comments.
Okay.
My next question is, how do we, on the outside, looking in to, a family member or a friend, or whoever might be dealing with any particular type of loss, how can we help them get through? We who are not counselors, we're just laymen, we're just regular folk.
Yeah.
How can we help get a person through a grief and loss,
and not say the wrong thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're never going to know if you're saying the right thing, in all honesty, because everybody might have different triggers. Like for some people, they have an issue if you say, I know how you feel with the death of a parent, and your parent hasn't died. They figure, how do you know? And that makes them angry. For others, they understand that you're empathizing, and that's not a problem for them. But just being a support, for some people, when they're angry and they lash out, not taking that personal. Being a listening ear. Still trying to create some sort of normalcy. Because when someone dies, it takes the normal out of our life.
It does.
So, just trying to make sure we still have some sense of normalcy, especially for children. You all discuss losses at holidays. And let's be honest, as adults, sometimes we don't want to say anything. We don't want to discuss it. We might not want to bring it up. But what about that small child who's now confused? Is it okay? Can I bring up auntie that's not here? Can I bring up grandma that's not here?
Wow.
Is that the same place?
Yeah.
Wow, hadn't considered that. That's pretty good.
And they might want to share that story. But if all the adults are, hush, we can't talk about that.
Oh, that's huge.
What does that tell that child?
Yeah, they don't have an outlet there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing is hard for a kid to deal with on their own.
Absolutely.
Right.
Wow.
And
kids
are more resilient than we are anyway when it comes to certain things. It's like they can really bounce back, and we hold on to stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. Another thing is understanding that if we're going to get together and we're going to have functions and stuff during this time, some people might want to cut out early. They don't want to stay. So pressing them to stay, no. Understand, they came, they made their appearance, let them leave. They've had all that they can have.
Yeah. That's good advice.
Yeah, that is.
Because sometimes we say, this is the best place you need to be is with your family. You don't need to leave. But sometimes people need that space to be able to process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And maybe they're feeling overwhelmed and they need to get out.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Got another question from the comments.
Okay.
How do you cope with anxiety? And that's a good question because we mentioned 2020 and coronavirus. Yes. I hope I can say that on YouTube. Can I say that on YouTube? Well, I already said it.
You didn't say Corona-19.
Oh, you did. But yeah, how do people are anxious? There's a lot of anxiety. I admit myself, I feel some anxiety sometimes, just because of the social climate and the all the masks everywhere and all the restrictions and everything like that. How do people cope with anxiety during this time?
Anxiety is based on what you believe is going to happen for the future. So it's what you tell yourself.
Wow.
So you have to be careful about what you tell yourself.
That's insightful.
Absolutely. Think about it. When you're anxious about something, it's a fear about what's going to happen, not what is happening.
Wow. That's
a lot of
nugget right there.
That's a real good nugget.
So most of the time, you have to stay present and you stay in the moment. Like I tell some of my clients, when they start to feel anxious that something is going to happen, I tell them, look around. See, is it anything about to hurt you? Do you feel anything about to hurt you? Do you smell anything that's about to hurt you? Have you felt anything that's about to hurt you? That way you're checking in with you. You're contradicting everything that you told yourself is going to happen so that you can be safe.
Like that.
Anxiety is based on self-talk. You tell yourself things are about to happen.
Oh, that's good.
And that same advice can be used for like a child or teenager.
Absolutely.
Could they actually wrap their head around understanding that too?
Absolutely, because it's them using their senses. So they can look around and see, is anything about to hurt me? Is anything about to harm me? So it's not about them telling themselves, it's them tangibly looking and seeing. It's them feeling. It's them listening.
Yeah, in that moment.
Wow, that's good. That's very helpful. Especially, if you didn't know that before. Basically, what you're saying is you're framing your mindset based on unfounded information.
Yeah.
And some of it is not necessarily unfounded, because you got to think about it. Every time you're on the news, you're hearing bad stuff. Let's be honest. People around you are constantly saying terrible things.
Yes.
So what you do is you take that and you're replaying it. This can happen. That can happen. This is going to happen. So now you're taking that away. You're changing your thoughts.
Okay, I like that.
That makes me think of hope deferred.
Hope deferred. Wow.
Yeah,
from the scriptures.
The scripture.
Make it the heart sick.
Right, but when the desire comes, it's a tree of life.
That's good.
I like that.
So I have a I guess my final question that I have, and correct me if I'm wrong, please. I don't want to give false information.
Okay.
Are there 7 stages to?
I was going to ask that, Ray. Go ahead.
Yeah. And if there's 7 stages to grief and loss, and do you go through all the stages? Are you expected to experience them all before you're through it?
Some people say there are 7 stages. Some people say there are 5 stages.
Okay, I saw that too. 5 also.
But even with that, people go through it differently. It's not necessarily you're going to go through denial, anger, bargaining, acceptance, depression. It doesn't mean. It's almost like a roller coaster. Sometimes you're going to go up, you're going to go down. Sometimes some stuff you might even repeat. It depends on where you are. Like you all discussed having lost. You've been through the steps. But when that time comes back around, or that anniversary or a special event happen, when you think, oh, I want to call that person and they're not there, you might not go through all of those same steps in your grieving process when you think about them.
Yeah. Okay.
You might not go through the bargaining. You might not go through the anger. You just might have the sadness from the depression, and then you accept it.
Wow.
Individual thing.
Yeah, I've noticed that some people actually go through the steps in varying degrees at different times and never in chronological order.
No, not at all.
But what is the hope that one day you'll come to the exit? I know. I said earlier we always carry that pain. It will never really go away. But how do you know when you're on the other side of that thing?
It's not necessarily that you're on the other side of it. It's just a matter of the pain lessens and the pain doesn't consume you.
Oh, okay.
Like my grandmother, she's been deceased for many years. But when my son was born, I almost cried like her death was yesterday, because she didn't get to see my baby.
Right, I've experienced that. Yes.
She didn't see my baby.
Wow.
And that hurt me. It took me a minute to deal with that. Even though I had long since finished grieving and the pain was lessened, but when my son was born, that created a different pain. That was still grief. So I had to go through the steps and the process for that. Because for me, it was like, oh, she's going to miss so much. Like when I graduated with my master's, she missed it. And that hurt. Even though it was a glorious, fun time, it still hurt. She had been to all the other graduations of mine, and she missed this one.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. That's we're learning a lot here tonight, fellas. And I'm hoping that we can take this information and be a blessing to other people as we see this come up, or even to ourselves. Got one final question from the comments from Brandon again. Brandon says, let's put it up on the screen. How can I get my partner to come with me to therapy sessions?
Ooh, wow.
I guess it would depend on what the issue is. Because if it's something that you need your partner there to help you get to the next level of your therapy, you can frame it that way. That you need them there to help you. It isn't about them. That's one of the reasons that a lot of people don't want to go to therapy, because they don't want it to be seen like they're the cause and they're the blame.
Yeah.
So they don't want to do that. But if you're explaining it in such a way where it's, no, I need you there so I can get to the next level, because this is what the blockage is, or this is what's preventing me from getting there. Or if it's a matter of you want them to come so they can get a better understanding of the process you're going through with therapy. Because maybe your partner doesn't understand what your process is. Because sometimes in therapy you get homework assignments. So your partner might not understand what you're doing. Why you acting like that? Why you asking these questions? So this helps them get a better understanding. It also helps if you say, I want you to meet my therapist, the person that's helping me grow and change. I want you to meet this person. That way, if you don't think that I'm doing well, you can let them know what my progress truly is.
Yeah. Wow.
That's something. My wife and I went to a therapist. We went through a little rough patch, and I said she dragged me to therapy, but once I got there, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I say that for anybody, any race that has a thing with therapy, you get to empty out so much that you don't even know is in there. So it's a good thing, actually. I still, to this day, I love it. We don't go anymore, but I want it to continue.
That's a good segue for me to say this, Zolita, as we wrap up this part with you.
Okay.
We so appreciate you coming on here. But if you can do us a gem and kind of look out at our listening audience and kind of talk to that person who tries to solo grief and loss on their own, and talk to them about the damage that they're doing to themselves. And if you can just speak to that parent who cannot provide that joyous Christmas this year because of a loss of finances. If you can just do that, that would be so great.
Okay. First off, to the person who's trying to deal with grief and loss yourself, as I stated earlier, understand that sometimes you have to give yourself grace and mercy in dealing with your loss. It's not always just sadness, because it does affect you in more than just my heart hurts. It can actually affect you physically. It can affect you emotionally, mentally. So sometimes if you don't have family that you can reach out to, or a good support group, reach out to a professional. They're there to help you and they don't judge you. For the individual who can't provide the same Christmas they always have, there are other ways to do it. Don't take it personally. You can do things to create a great Christmas. Christmas is about a memory. It's not about a gift.
Wow.
Yeah.
So create a memory with them. If it means you're going to make cookies from scratch, if it means you're going to do homemade ornaments to put on a tree, if it means we're going to do thoughtful gifts this year and everybody makes something from their heart for someone else, create a new tradition, create something new that creates a wonderful memory. One of the things we're going to do is we're having a game night so we can have fun. Wow. Because I would rather create the memory than it just being about a gift.
The gift.
Yeah. That's powerful. That's powerful. That is powerful. Are we still there, Jake?
Oh,
there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep, there you go.
More about the memories, not the gift.
Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm. Well, Zolita, we certainly, really, truly appreciate you coming in. We had a great time discussing this very important topic with you. Please let the people know how they can find you, how they can get in touch with you. I'll put your website up here on the screen.
Absolutely.
So people can see that.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
Yes.
You can go to my website, which is up there, which is www.phoenixinterv.com. I can also be reached by phone, 313-778-3156. Wait, what's my phone number? I forgot it. It's on the website. I'll do that. It's on the website.
There you go.
What else? I'm in East Point in the Kennedy building right across from Eastland.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Any social media or anything of that nature that you use for your...
I'm on Facebook and I am on LinkedIn, but I'm on Therapy for Black Girls, Psychology Today. But the easiest way to actually get to me is through the website. There's actually a contact on there where they can hit me directly.
Great. Awesome.
All right.
Do you specialize? Is there a preference of adults or teens, or does it matter? Or do you both? Just wondering.
I do both. I do adults and I do children of all ages.
All ages.
But
that's good.
It depends on what's going on with the child. But I do children of all ages. I do adults. Yep. My specialization is trauma. So I help everybody.
Okay.
Trauma.
Wow.
Yeah, we learned a lot here today, and like I said, we certainly appreciate my time. My wife wanted to let you know that she thinks that the service that you're offering to teen girls at no charge is magnificent. That is a real blessing. No pressure. There's no reason now. No obstruction to the services anymore.
Absolutely.
So, we appreciate your time, and we certainly would like to have you again at some point.
Absolutely.
And you have a Merry Christmas if we don't see you before then. Thanks for blessing our show.
Thank you.
You take care. And like I said, if you can, you said everything could be found on the website, so we'll leave that website up in our comments so people can find you and reach you.
Okay.
And until next time, you be blessed, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Wow.
Well, fellas, that was profound information.
It was.
Profound information. She did a great job.
She did.
A great job of explaining things and making us more understanding of the stages and the different aspects of how people cope and how people deal, what to look for. I think we learned a lot that would be, like I said, we could really be a blessing to people that are going through it, or even to ourselves if we end up going through it. I think we'll be able to better help ourselves get through, these tough seasons.
Definitely, that was power packed in a few minutes.
Power packed in a few minutes. Yeah, she dropped some serious nuggets, serious nuggets. And so,
in the comments, man, that was great.
Yeah, shout out to Brandon Smiles and Lady Sugar. Lady Sugar being my special wife. Shout out to those two for keeping the comments fired up.
Yeah.
They had some great questions, and if you have any more questions, please feel free. If you watch this by replay, throw those questions in the comments. We will read them and we will reply. Now, as a piece of housekeeping, we were supposed to be on our new YouTube page. That didn't pan out this week, but next week we'll be able to do live streams from that page, and so you will be live from the Knowledge and Power Show, is what it's called on YouTube. And we'll be on there every Sunday live with these types of conversations. I really don't have much else to say after all that, guys.
I do want to just kind of throw out the one thing that she did say, because I always thought that there was a time period that you go through grief and loss.
For grief.
and you get past it so that you can move on, because surely it's stifling you from being successful in other areas of your life. So but I did learn from my own personal counseling, and then I was reminded from listening to her tonight that you can't put a timetable on it.
No, you can't.
You really can't, and you have to slowly walk through it. And some stages you may go through, some stages you may miss.
Yeah, I think it's actually, like she said, it's very individualistic. Everybody goes through their things at their paces, and everybody deals with grief in their own way. And some people may never ever come out of it. Like she said, the pain lessens, and you're able to go on with life a little bit better. But it's always still there, just not to the degree that it was when it was fresh. So I think we're able to move on. Yeah, I think we're able to move on when we're able to feel that pain, but like she said, it doesn't stop us. I forgot.
So you definitely don't want to rush somebody through it.
Yeah, they got to get through it at their own pace. Now, I wish we could have asked you this question. Is there a such thing as people being excessive with it, or taking it too far?
Oh, that would have been a good one.
Yeah, I just thought of that question. So maybe we could email her that question and get an answer and post it for the folks next time we talk.
Or share it next week.
Share it next week.
Yep. She did say something about storytelling. She mentioned that. And sometimes I think we do things that we don't even realize the steps that we're doing, that we're actually acting out, like the storytelling piece. For me, when I talked about my loss of my dad and my brother, and she talked about how when she had her son, and her grandmother wasn't there, how that impacted her so much. I've always dealt with the disappointment that my dad or my brother never met my children.
Oh,
because they were off the scene by the time I had my children. So, to be honest, that was something that I kind of would push down. But one of the things that I did that I didn't realize I was doing with them was I was storytelling. I would have my moment when I would get into my moods, to fight my moods. I would just start telling stories about something my dad did, or something I would do that I did with my brother. And I would like to think that I talked about them enough that even though they never met them, from the stories, I kind of brought them alive.
I feel you.
Do you have any video of him and your brother?
No video, just pictures.
Oh, really? No video?
Yeah, no video.
Y'all didn't have a big old, gigantic...
Right, the big shoulder camera.
The shoulder camera. The news channel size camera.
Right. No. But like I said, if you are a good storyteller, and true stories, of course, not just making up stuff in your life. But I would paint the picture so vivid that it seemed like, like I said, I was putting them in that moment. That they were actually there experiencing that with us. So, So I want to encourage everybody to, do that storytelling, and walk through this.
It definitely helps.
Actively, just take your time.
It definitely helps.
That's a heritage thing for us, actually. Storytelling. That's how we got most of our history,
Yeah, but
that's our heritage.
Jake, that is our heritage, and that is. But come on, let's be honest. Nobody really walked 14, 15 miles to school back in the day. I think that was a stretch right there.
It probably had to be.
Maybe I walked 2 miles to school in middle school.
Those miles get longer and longer every time they tell the story.
Every time.
I walked 40 miles to church one way.
Right. Yeah. Right. With sack of potatoes on my back. No, but like
that's
you said,
true.
To take it back to the realness, Jake, that is in our heritage. So
that's our heritage. We tell stories, man, and we leave that legacy, man, of just honoring the memory. That's what it is really all about. Yeah. And we that's one good way to honor the people that have gone on, is to just tell stories about them, the good stories, and keep it fresh in the memories of the people that come after. Our children, grandchildren, new family members, they always have that good memory of the person that was lost.
And that definitely lightens the sadness of the loss.
Yeah, it does. At least for a little while. Yeah. So we got a comment from Michelle. She said, "You guys are awesome. Hashtag the brothers. Hashtag the
we
brothers.
love our sister."
Yeah. And it looks like Jabari came on too, Ray.
Hey, my nephew.
Great job, fellas. He said, "Great job, fellas." So thank you so much, Jabari. Thank you so much, Michelle. Again, thanks. Shout out to Brandon who stopped by and asked some great questions. Man,
that was our guest, man. That was our first guest. How y'all feel about that?
Yeah, that was a great one. It was great. I mean, we learned so much, and that's what bringing special guests on and collaborations is all about. You know, we are only limited in our expertise about things, so let's bring on some people who know a little bit more, and they can help educate people. You know, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
Can I throw one plug in there? It's a selfish plug.
Go ahead.
Because we are limited in what we do. But one thing that I'm really huge and passionate about is education. And I don't know if people have noticed that when we have our podcast, usually I'm wearing some type of shirt that has a college name on it.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, just I'm just passionate about that.
You got one on today?
Yeah, this is my daughter's school, Alabama State University.
There you go.
Yeah, cool. HBCU.
Yep.
So yeah, and I just wanted to say that because you know, if anyone ever wonders why, like, wow, and all the shirts that I usually wear are pretty much schools that are. It took me a minute to get my degree, and I went through some schools. So you know, I have a lot of paraphernalia from those different schools, but I'm also trying to channel some of the schools that you know, get my children in here. You know, like tonight.
Look, wait.
I saw yours, Nate.
Where's it at? There it is. Grand Valley. There it is. That's Carolyn's school. So I gotta get some MSU stuff on too.
That's good.
Oh, cool.
For the other ones. Yeah, I gotta get some MSU stuff.
Yeah, so that's just something I'm passionate about, man. So I just kind of want to throw that plug out there. Education, knowledge is power, and no one can take it away from you.
Yeah. So she enjoys the HBCU?
Man, she loves it.
Good.
She loves Alabama.
Good.
Montgomery.
Well, hey,
bet
fellas,
she's enjoying that weather too.
Is it cold in Alabama right now, or is it still warm? I would take some.
I mean, it gets chilly. It gets chilly because my family is from there as well. So, so I hear about it all the time. They don't get like Michigan,
right?
But yep. Hey,
there's Cara.
What's going on, Cara?
Cara.
If I had known you was going to do a special guest appearance, I'd have had my Olivia step up here.
Mm-hmm. Sweet niece.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, there's legacy right here. We're talking about legacy. I'm so backwards with the camera, but yeah. But yeah, man, I'm overwhelmed by that conversation. What you gonna say, Ray? Jake?
I was gonna tell you, I was watching the gospel artist. Tone, well, he's B Slade now.
B Slade.
But that guy really needs to hear this tonight because I swear he is saturated in grief. Yes.
What happened with him? I'm not familiar with the story of his grief.
He's like saturated in grief. Now he went through a lot and a lot of loss, and that thing is still like on him heavy.
Recent loss or this old? Okay.
Well,
and
it's about to.
Too.
Yeah,
and the old stuff too. I know about the old stuff.
Right.
But he's still hearing it afresh.
Oh, so fresh. Man.
So he's caught in some of those stages. Mm-hmm. He's caught some of those prolonged stages that take a while to get out of.
Yeah, and I'll say this: to some point, I know we're talking over people's head right now because we don't really want to. It's a lot, but he kind of has a point in the sense that the way that he was called out and talked about,
right,
back in the day, when he went through his questionable lifestyle change. He was really thrown under the bus.
Big time.
And the Saints did not, like you just said, he needs prayer. No one seemed like they rushed publicly to his aid to cover him in prayer.
Right.
And he brought up that with this recent rant because there's somebody else in today's day and time that just kind of got exposed.
Mm-hmm.
And people are trying to cover this person in prayer. And he's like, hey, where were you at when I went through what I went through? And he went on a rant.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's still caught up in that. He's still caught up in that phase. But you know what? You know, I think we'll wrap it up, I guess, after this. But I think of David from the Bible when I think of, you know, dealing with grief and loss and anxiety and whatnot. I mean, that guy was ultimate in taking his thoughts and feelings to God.
Yeah, pen to paper,
Yep.
What name did you say?
David.
David, okay.
From the Old Testament, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think B. Slade could probably benefit from having that approach instead of trying to blame and hold on to grudges and resentments and things. Sure, he still writes and everything, but it doesn't look like he's giving that thing from his heart to the Lord. And I think that's, you know, when you're dealing with grief and loss, you gotta have that component. Because I think the spirit of God is really the only thing that's going to get us through truly through our grief and loss, and then praying for those people who are dealing with it. You know, not having words to say. You can always pray and ask God to strengthen them, even if they're mad at God at the time. You know, ask God to strengthen them and get them through. Strength of heart, strength of mind. During those hard times. But yeah. So, Ray, it's that time. Do you have a wisdom nugget prepared for us?
Well, I guess I can go off kind of what we just kind of ended on with the B. Slade thing. You know,
okay.
We've all heard the statement, "Hurting people hurt people."
Yes.
I mean, that's really noted. So, the next time you're suffering or dealing with that horrible soloist singing at the church program or Christmas program,
off key,
understand that they are hurting. That's my wisdom nugget.
All kind of pain they're giving us, boy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's funny. Well, guys, another barn burner, like I said, of a conversation. I certainly appreciate your time on a Sunday evening, and as always, I enjoy this time together.
Yeah.
Next week, Knowledge and Power Show YouTube channel. Start to promote it so people can know us out there. Get some subscribers over there, and we will have another sweet and special topic for you at the top of the week. As always, thank you so much, guys, for listening. Thank you for your comments. Please share this content. Let people know that we're here and what we're doing. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
You too, bro.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.